There's a $4 trillion industry built on a fundamental flaw that nobody wants to acknowledge. It's not fraud, it's not criminal, but it's costing companies billions, reshaping entire industries, and might be the most expensive collective mistake in tech history. And the terrifying part? The people running it genuinely believe it's working. Here's what's actually happening behind the hype. At a Taco Bell in suburban America, something strange keeps happening. Customers order a Mountain Dew. The AI hears mountain soup. Not occasionally, regularly. This isn't a beta test. This isn't experimental technology. This is production software deployed at over 500 locations, representing millions in investment and countless hours of training data. And it cannot reliably distinguish between dew and soup. McDonald's experienced similar issues. Bacon added to ice cream orders. Customers accidentally charged hundreds of dollars for chicken nuggets they never requested. McDonald's quietly terminated the program. The Taco Bell chief technology officer's statement to the Wall Street Journal reveals everything. Quote, "Sometimes it lets me down, but sometimes it really surprises me." End quote. Consider what that means. The person running the technology doesn't know when it will work. That's not acceptable variance. That's a fundamental flaw masquerading as innovation. And this exact pattern is replicating across every industry deploying AI right now. MIT recently released research that sent shockwaves through the tech sector. They surveyed 150 business leaders and 350 employees across companies that implemented AI. The findings? 5% of AI implementations generated meaningful profit. Not 50%, not 25%, 5%. Which means 95% generated nothing. No efficiency gains, no cost savings, no measurable impact on bottom lines. Market reaction was immediate. NVIDIA dropped 3.5% in a single day, erasing $140 billion in market value. Palantir fell 9%. But the market correction isn't the real story. The story is what's actually happening inside these companies right now. Anonymous workplace forums reveal a pattern that public statements carefully avoid mentioning. There's an invisible tax being paid by workers across industries. 3 examples illustrate this perfectly. First case. Management bought AI scheduling software to justify a hiring freeze in accounting. Now the accounting team spends twice as long verifying the AI didn't corrupt payroll. Production staff who never handled schedules are auditing everything. The company is reverting to basic software. Second case. Healthcare setting. The new AI sorts and labels patient files. Names get swapped, birth dates are incorrect, sometimes it identifies the doctor as the patient. Every single file requires manual verification now. More work, not less. Third case. AI-generated meeting notes sounded efficient. Reality? The system fabricates 10 to 20% of summary content, even when provided full transcripts. Things that were never said appear in documentation. Entire meetings are now spent being careful about what gets said, knowing the AI might misrepresent it later. The pattern is clear. These companies didn't just fail to gain efficiency, they added an entire verification layer that didn't exist before. It's like hiring someone to wash dishes who breaks half of them, then hiring someone else to glue the pieces back together. Recent surveys show 55% of companies regret their AI implementations. But the regret stays quiet. Admitting wasted millions on AI makes executives look foolish. So companies quietly pay the invisible tax and hope nobody notices. Understanding why this keeps happening requires understanding how current AI actually works. Modern AI runs on transformer neural networks from a 2017 Google paper. The breakthrough was teaching computers to predict the next word by analyzing relationships between all words in a sequence. Sophisticated technology, genuine innovation, but with a fatal architectural flaw. The system predicts words statistically. It doesn't understand meaning. It can't say, "I don't know." It can't recognize confusion. It just generates the most statistically likely next word, even when that word is completely wrong. These errors get called hallucinations, but that's too gentle. The system isn't hallucinating. It's confidently stating falsehoods. Consider the practical impact. A system that fabricates 10% of outputs with no way to predict which 10%. Every output requires verification. That's not a tool, that's a liability. Klarna provides a perfect case study. The buy now, pay later company announced a hiring freeze in 2022 and began replacing humans with AI. Workforce dropped from 3,800 to 2,000 people.
The CEO claimed AI chatbots replaced 800 employees. Wall Street loved it. Stock prices jumped. Then customer satisfaction scores arrived. Down. Service quality? Down. Resolution times? Up. Customers wanted humans who could actually solve problems, not chatbots hallucinating policy details and providing contradictory information. Klarna still runs the AI, but they've admitted human interaction remains essential. They eliminated positions, introduced chaos, and now operate with permanent dysfunction. Another bank fired staff for an AI chatbot that proved so dysfunctional they attempted to rehire the humans. Fortune magazine called this approach fundamentally bad business, writing, "The companies cutting people for AI today will be the ones playing catch-up tomorrow." Yet some companies are succeeding. What's different? The MIT study revealed something crucial about the 5% who succeeded. They didn't attempt to replace people. They identified one specific problem, purchased specialized tools from vendors who understood that problem, and integrated thoughtfully. When companies partner with specialized AI vendors, 67% success rate. When they build in-house and deploy broadly, only 33% success rate. Startups are jumping from $0 to $20 million in revenue using AI. Their approach? Solve one painful problem extremely well. No attempts to automate everything. The difference between success and failure isn't the technology, it's the implementation strategy. Most companies treat AI like a universal solution. Deploy everywhere, expect magic. That's never been how technology adoption works. But Wall Street doesn't reward nuance. Wall Street rewards narratives. And that brings up the uncomfortable comparison nobody wants to make. In 1999, Pets.com sold pet supplies online. They raised $300 million, ran a Super Bowl ad. Investors funded them because .com meant future. 9 months after going public, bankrupt. The problem? No path to profitability. No viable business model. Just a website and a mascot. But it wasn't isolated. Hundreds of companies, billions in funding, trillions in market value, all built on internet equals money. When reality arrived, the market collapsed. Consider where AI stands today. ChatGPT-5 launched to disappointment. Users claimed the previous version performed better. OpenAI was caught manipulating performance graphs in marketing materials. The release was incremental, not revolutionary. Meta just downsized their AI division. Look at the spending patterns. NVIDIA's H100 chips cost $30,000 to $40,000 each. Google purchased 26,000 of them. Result? AlphaFold, genuinely discovering new science and solving protein folding problems that stumped researchers for decades. Meta purchased 600,000 of them, 23 times Google's compute power. Result? Llama, an open-source text generator. Not new science, not breakthrough discoveries, text generation. For 23 times the investment. AI has increased U.S. electricity consumption by 4%. Morgan Stanley projects $3 trillion in data center investment over 3 years, funded largely by debt. The justification for this spending? AI will cut business costs by 40% and add $16 trillion to global markets. But 95% of current implementations are failing. Not theoretically, actually. What happens when markets realize the math doesn't work? Here's the likely sequence if no fundamental breakthrough emerges within 18 months. Stage 1. Executive disillusionment. Failure anecdotes become data. Data becomes quarterly reports. Boards start demanding return on investment justification. Stage 2. The quiet pivot. AI leaders begin suggesting artificial general intelligence was always a decade away. Language models were just one approach. The next innovation is what matters. Goalposts shift. Stage 3. Consumer rejection. People are already fatigued by AI-generated content flooding the internet. Chatbots that can't help. Search results that hallucinate. The backlash accelerates. Stage 4. Funding drought. OpenAI burns $40 billion annually. Revenue? Approximately $20 billion. That's not a sustainable business model. When venture capital recognizes this, funding stops. Stage 5. Market correction.
not everyone fails. Amazon survived the dot-com crash. Google emerged from it. But companies with no real product, no defensible moat, no path to profitability, they disappear. Could this analysis be wrong? Absolutely. Someone might publish breakthrough research tomorrow that solves hallucinations. A new architecture might emerge. Technology surprises are possible, but the fundamentals look concerning, and fundamentals always win eventually. There's a model called the Gartner hype cycle that maps how major technologies get adopted.
Stage 1. Innovation trigger. Something new appears. Stage 2. Peak of inflated expectations. Everyone believes it changes everything. Investment floods in. Stage 3. Trough of disillusionment. Reality hits. Most applications fail. Funding dries up. Stage 4. Slope of enlightenment. Real applications emerge. Understanding develops about what actually works. Stage 5. Plateau of productivity. The technology becomes invisibly useful. This pattern repeated with the internet, blockchain, virtual reality, and every major innovation. AI is somewhere between stages 2 and 3 right now, the peak and the trough. The question is how steep the fall will be. The evidence presents a clear picture. 95% failure rates, $40 billion in annual losses at OpenAI alone. Customer satisfaction dropping wherever AI gets deployed. Hallucinations that can't be fixed with current architecture. Something has to break. The only question is timing. The market is watching. Investors are watching. And increasingly, they're asking the hard questions that get avoided in earnings calls. Is AI delivering on promises? Are the fundamentals sound? Can these companies ever become profitable at current burn rates? The answers coming back aren't encouraging. Companies that deployed AI thoughtfully, with specific use cases and realistic expectations, are finding value. Those that treated it as magic are discovering expensive lessons about hype versus reality. The tech industry has seen this cycle before: the dot-com bubble, the blockchain craze, the metaverse push. Technologies with genuine potential getting inflated beyond reason, then crashing back to sustainable levels. AI likely follows the same path. Some companies will emerge stronger. Most won't survive the correction. The winners will be those who focused on solving real problems instead of chasing valuations. Those who understood that technology is a tool, not a religion. And those who recognized that when 95% of implementations fail, maybe the problem isn't implementation. Maybe the problem is the technology isn't ready yet. The future remains uncertain. It always does with emerging technology. But the pattern is becoming clear to anyone willing to look past the hype and examine the actual results. AI will eventually transform industries, just probably not in the way or on the timeline that current valuations suggest. The correction is coming. The only questions are when and how severe.